The Chicago Bulls find themselves on the losing end of a matchup with the Golden State Warriors, 141-31. But despite the loss, is there something we can be encouraged about? I think so. Let's talk about that and more right after this. Listen, if you're new to the channel, it's your boy P Kid. As you've seen, this is just Chicago Bulls Breeze. You know what it is. You know what you do. Let's get into this video, man. Listen, again, the Chicago Bulls take the L against the Golden State Warriors. But despite the L, despite the fact that this could have been our opportunity to go on Ring of Honor night, to have a W and things of that nature, all that jazz, right? The one thing I want to highlight is the simple fact that, again, we get to see the fact that our team and our stars can coexist. And I think that more than anything is the one thing that we have to look at and really be encouraged by. On a night where Demar Derozan goes 39 points in 41 minutes, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Coby White goes 25 points. Zach LaVine, 25, 7, and 8. Vooch, 14, 7, and 2. We had good production from our core group of guys. Our stars were our stars for the most part, and especially during the first half, we saw what that looked like. And if you watch that game, especially that first half, you would know that Coby White scored 21. Can you do some for me? 21 of his points in the first half. Now, again, you might say, well, he scored 21, he ended up 25. What happened? We'll talk about that. However, right now, we are looking at the fact that we got good production from the rest of our squad. Now, I will in this video discuss about the fact that the Warriors also had a historic night. I'm not going to say historic, had a really, really good night. Let's just put it to you like this. For us to go, the Chicago Bulls, to be 58% from the field, 45% from three, and 81% from the free throw line and still lose means that the other team did something really, really good, right? Well, realistically, they went 52% from the field. They went 42% from the field. Literally, they hit 2 more threes than we did. And they went 73% from the free throw line. But they also took 30 free throws to our 16. Now, that discrepancy right there isn't something that I'm going to harp on, because if you saw it, you know. You have to watch that game. There were moments in that game where clearly, the Warriors start to click. They start to go on a nice little run, and things were just going their way. And the refs called it their way at that point. We, in the first half, had moments like that too. The NBA is a game of runs. It's a relatively simple game, but it's one that requires people who are highly skilled and who can execute on a high level. Don't think that your average person can just go out there and do that. They can't. But at the end of the day, we see what happened. Now, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to let you know there are 2 things in this particular game that stood out and ultimately led to the Chicago Bulls not necessarily being able to get over this hump. And one was rebounding and turnovers. And the reason why I want to highlight those things is because there were times in this game where Billy Donovan decided to go small. And you can hear it from the broadcast. You hear Adam Amin and Stacey King. Stacey King even call it out several times. The Bulls are really small right now. This is not working out. The Bulls are really small right now. And when that happens, what do you have to do? Or what tends to happen? We have a really small team that's getting beat. You have people at the foul line. And that's ultimately what happened. The pick and roll at certain times that the Golden State Warriors put in play in the second half was just too much, mainly because, one, just the matchup in itself, people not necessarily knowing exactly where to be or how to play it, but also just this team in itself. It's hard for the help defense to leave someone who's shooting 41% from three to attack someone who's diving, when realistically that's a wide open shot. If I'm going to play the statistics, considering who it is, I may just live with the fact that, that layup. But again, that is the darned if you do, darned if you don't moment. And that was something that took a minute to coach through. That took a minute to adjust to. And we didn't do it well in this game. Now, losses happen. Not every time we step on a court are we going to get a W. So I wasn't expecting that, which is why I say I'm not discouraged by this game. This is our first loss in 4 games. I can live with that. Do I like the night it happened on? Absolutely not. Do I like how Billy Donovan at times looked out coached? Absolutely not. But I also can't do anything about the buzzsaw that ends up being Klay Thompson, who has been struggling, but all of a sudden he lights it up. And that's what they're known for. They're known for that. We put up 45 points in the second quarter on this team, and they come out in the second half and put up 48 on us. This is the Golden State Warriors. Now, no matter what we think and what we say about who they are, what their record is, and them actually losing their edge, it's still the Golden State Warriors. And until Steph Curry, Klay Thompson can't shoot, you treat them like they're the Golden State Warriors. And I think some people forgot, but they reminded us today. But yet and still something to be encouraged by. Now, here's the one thing I will be interested in seeing how Billy Donovan addresses it, how AK addresses it, because this is the one thing I'm seeing on a consistent basis, especially since Coby White's made his ascendance, Zach LaVine is back in the lineup, DeMar DeRozan is still in the lineup clicking, and now Vooch is back there playing his part and doing well at it. What is happening with our other guys? Specifically, one, Patrick Williams. I'm going to zoom in on him a little bit, mainly because if I go on the other end, there is a particular person who I would say is his contemporary. I would say is someone who is in a very similar situation, and he just had the gall to call out his head coach, who is a legendary head coach, Hall of Fame head coach. If Steve Kerr stopped coaching today, he's in the Hall of Fame, and said, I don't think I will reach my potential with him. Those are bold statements for a young guy who Jonathan Kuminga is who I'm speaking of. Jonathan Kuminga and Patrick Williams, I believe Jonathan Kuminga may be either the same age or even younger. I think Jonathan Kuminga is like 21, 22. I thought he was older. He's still he's a young dude. To call out his coach and for his coach to say, you know what? All right, I'm going to put you on the floor. How does he reward that? Well, he didn't just sit there and just stand on the court idly or complain about getting his 24 minutes. In 24 minutes, Jonathan Kuminga put up 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. Knocked down several trades and was cooking. In fact, he took those threes with confidence and was cooking. I look at Tracy Jackson Davis, young guy, 17 minutes, only 17 minutes, but he put up a near double-double, 13 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. It was very influential in those pick and rolls that beat us a couple of times. Braden Kosminski, I can't really pronounce his name. Pozimiski, he always gets me. I'm gonna just say Braden puts up 20. Was pedestrian, don't get me wrong, but I remember the points they were interesting. I remember him scoring those points. I remember the sequences rather. And last but not least, you have Saric and you have Kevon Looney. Mind you, I didn't say Andrew Wiggins. I didn't say Steph Curry. I didn't say Klay Thompson. I said 3 other people. I said everyone else on that particular team. So realistically, when I look at those guys and their production, again, Jonathan Kuminga, Tracy Jackson Davis, those 2 people right there literally account for nearly 40 points. 37 if I'm being exact. 24 plus 13 is 37. You add the other guys in there, they make up another 45, 50 points. That's the production you're looking for. You need those other guys there. You need that production. You need that help. And right now, on a consistent basis, I've seen our help at times. And what I mean by help, I mean anyone not named Kobe, Zach, DeMar, Vooch. Not really help. Alex Caruso, I give a pass to. Alex Caruso, different situation. But as far as everyone else, there's a situation in which you have to actually do better. And we don't see that. Or we didn't see it. And oftentimes now we're looking at Patrick Williams, who, again, in his own right, 9.7 7 assists, you would say played well, didn't do anything outside of the norm, things of that nature. But in a moment like this, you probably want to see him do a little more. Io, very up and down at times. Dalen Terry, at moments, got some tick. We need help from the other guys on a more consistent basis. Specifically, I'm going to highlight Patrick Williams. The reason why I'm going to highlight Patrick Williams is because he gets starter minutes. consistently has gotten more minutes than some of the people that we pair him against or some of the people he was drafted against. And we're wondering what's happening there. So that's the one guy I'm going to highlight and say, we need more. He didn't play bad, but we need more. And that's what the Golden State Warriors have going for them. But all in all, this loss tells me one thing. Our stars, again, can coexist. If I'm going to do anything, if I'm Bulls brass, if I'm looking at this team now and I look at this loss, this is encouraging to me for one particular reason alone. We didn't know if they could stay on the court together. And the way Billy Donovan handled it, the way his lineups worked this time, his lineups were good enough for me to say Billy Donovan is figuring that part out. And I'm enjoying that process. Now, is there going to be moments where he gets beat? Clearly. You saw it today. We saw it. There's no secret. Every coach goes through that, right? But we saw that he's starting to figure out his lineup. Maybe he's listening more to his players. And his stars are responding in ways that we didn't see earlier this season. So if that is any inkling of what's to come, I look at this and I say, we need to stand back and give this time. Because right now we're 18 of 22. And yeah, maybe we could have or should have won this game. But there's some games coming up that we absolutely have a chance to win, that I believe we're going to win. And we have a chance to claw back into an actual playoff spot, not just play in. Right now, we're definitively in a play in. And I don't think anyone in the top 8 would want to see us in a play in situation because we've beaten a good portion of them. So I'm encouraged about what this is because while it was a tough loss, we got good production from our core. We want to see a little more from other guys. Yes, we got beat on some pick and rolls and things of that nature, but we see something trending and brewing that we didn't see earlier this season, and that is something to be hopeful for. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. I want to hear whether or not you all believe and actually like where we're going with this. If you all actually can see what Billy Donovan's cooking up, and ultimately how Zach, Vooch, DeMar, and especially Coby White can coexist. I want to hear your thoughts and more in the chat. Put it in there. I'll be in there with you. Till next time. Peace.